Morning, guys.
Hello.
How's everybody doing this fine Monday morning?
Good.
Well,
Anybody do anything good this weekend? Worthwhile?
just pool time.
That's worthwhile. That's absolutely.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah. Do you guys have a pool, or do you have like a?
We go to like a little community pool, and you have to they have small little times, and you have to get little times to go. And
Gotcha. It's so interesting how so many different pools around here have done stuff so differently. Like you guys are all supposed to be following the same guidelines, but
yeah, it's crazy.
we
Same
have one
thing for schools.
Yeah, that's absolutely true too. Yeah, we have a pool down the street that we're a part of, and it started out like that, like, oh, you got to sign up for these times, and then like within like 2 weeks, it was like, no, we're not worried about that anymore, and then it became like, yeah, social distancing, yeah, whatever. So
Yeah.
we're like, there's chlorine in the pool, it kills everything, right?
Yep. It's been a lifesaver though.
Oh, I hear you. It's hard. Do you have kids, Meredith?
We have 5.
You have 5. Okay, you have a little bit of your hands full of 5.
Yeah. Luckily, they're all middle schoolers right now, so they're all the littlest one just got dropped off at soccer.
Okay.
And the rest of them are in bed. I have to drag them out later.
Yeah. You have 5 in middle school at the same time?
We have 4 in middle school. We have a 15-year-old, a 14-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old, and a 9-year-old.
Wow.
So
That makes me tired just thinking about that.
it's crazy, but it's fun. Like now that they're in middle school and high school, it's like so much more fun.
Okay.
I feel like there's way too many emotions bundled up in those age groups. Like, blah.
Yeah. We're lucky. Our kids are really laid back, real calm. They're not high drama. They're not real like social butterflies. They're all very quirky and unique. So it's great.
I have 2 middle schoolers, 6th and 8th grade this year.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the quarantine has just gotten to them because every day there's one thing every day that happens.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's pretty chill. But it's okay.
The little things in life, it stresses them out now.
That is absolutely true. Like one misplaced modifier in your sentence, and all of a sudden it's, battle lines have been drawn. I'm like, guys, calm down. Like, it's really okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So we had 2 fighting the other day, and they were like, "Well, she said that," and I said, "Okay, you have 2 choices: beat the crap out of each other and see who's standing, or don't." Okay, that's it. And they're like, "Okay, we won't."
Okay. Yeah. Silliness.
Sometimes they want you to break it up,
Yeah, I think they want a referee most of the time. Like you be the impartial judge. Make it fair.
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm not doing that. I'm not the referee. You guys figure it out.
Yeah, at a certain point you're old enough, you don't need me to tell you the obvious.
Exactly.
Yeah. Kristen,
Got Cammy. Cammy's working great with Canvas. I don't know if you see.
Okay.
So it's now it's just a real simple ad as an external tool.
Mm-hmm.
And then if people click on it, it's one little button when you're making an assignment. It'll automatically, when the kids open it, all the Cammy features will be on the screen.
That's how the Google assignment piece is supposed to work too.
Yeah.
But I haven't gotten that one to work for me since the first. Like I tried it the very first time I got on and was making assignments, and then ever since then I haven't been able to get it to work again. So
yeah, I think Cammy's going to do a lot better with. Canvas is going to be a lot better with Cammy.
Okay. Yeah, I was at a doctor the day you did that session, so I missed it.
Well, when you get to the external tools, if you want me to say anything, just let me know.
Yeah. That was the first time I did this session last week. That was the biggest question, honestly. Was can I connect things from sites that I've already been using, like if I've been using Kubu or Kia or whatever other external tool you've been doing, like can I connect things to there? And it's like, well, yeah, certainly you can. So you know, it's not necessarily something I was focusing on in this, but I'm happy to go over those types of things to scratch the itch that teachers have, because it really is like this is almost like a stages of grief kind of thing that we're doing here. It's like figure out how to do the first part, and then once you get to the first part, then you have the emotional space to get to the second part, and then you have the emotional space to get to the third part.
Yeah.
So that's totally fine, understandable, and no, I get it completely.
So you're like a Canvas counselor.
Sure, go with that. No, I have a lot of experience with LMSs, but not with Canvas as much.
Okay.
So a lot of the tools, like I'm still figuring out, just like everybody else.
Yeah.
But I do have some experience, and I'll talk about that in a second. I do have some experience with setting up online courses within an LMS and the workflow piece of it, which is going to be the focus of what I talk about here, is thinking about, you know, your kids come to your class for the very first day and it's online, and how do they know what to do? You know, like we're so programmed as teachers to come in and, you know, we have our first week lesson plans like written out to the letter, and we've memorized them, and we're, you know, it's like we're very thorough that first week of school. But this year, the first week of school is going to look way different. So just thinking about how to get everything set up, just set a process for kids as they get started. So,
well, that's the great thing about Cami. You can embed a video of yourself talking to them in the assignment. So like they can, you know, basically see you explaining what to do and stuff.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't looked at Canvas that much. I've always used DocHub for my PDF editor with kids, but I'll have to look at that this year. Learn something new.
Wow.
Everybody will be doing a lot this year. All right.
It's going to be a learning year.
I'm going to go ahead and get started. It's 9:03. I usually give about 2 minutes for people to kind of roll in, especially 9 o'clock on a Monday morning. I don't know how I got this time slot. Like, I don't know how you could have a worse time slot than very first thing on a Monday morning. But that is okay. I'm glad to have you guys here. A lot of familiar names popping up, folks that I know. A couple of folks that I don't think are at the high school. Wendy and Kathy, tell me where you guys teach, so I have some frame of reference, so I'm not being too high school centric here.
I teach at Andrew Lewis. I teach Math 7 and Algebra 1.
Okay, so thank you, Kathy. Andrew Lewis. Wendy, can you hear me? Maybe she might have stepped away for a minute, and that's okay. We'll get her when she gets back. We do know Wendy has 2 college students at home, so there you go. All right, so guys, welcome this morning. I'm sorry, I'm trying to get a good angle where I'm not completely in shadow, and it's hard in this particular space that I'm in this morning. But we have a 6-month-old puppy running around upstairs, so she tends to be a little loud and rambunctious. But my name, for those of you guys that I haven't met before, is Gary Lupton. I am at the high school, and this year I'll be teaching computer science. So our computer science teacher left, so I'll be taking that over this year. And this session is all about how to set up some basic things in Canvas. So before I came to Salem, I actually worked in York County, which is down the Hampton Roads area. And in my 5-year window that I was with them, 3 of those years I spent as the online learning specialist for that school division. They actually have an online learning program called Virtual High School that students participated in. And so I was basically in charge of running that from a day-to-day operations standpoint, working with students, working with teachers, working with our paraprofessionals to make sure they understood how to support students as they work through the course. So as you can imagine, there's a lot of uniformity that has to be developed when you have a program like that. And that's really the focus of what this session is going to be. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And as I do that, I found with the summer school class I have this summer, if I stop my video, that will help students' internet. So I'm going to use that same practice too. But this is just a super quick, like, why this is important, right? So I'm going to sell you on why what I'm talking about this morning matters. But if you got up at 9 o'clock on a Monday morning in the summer to come to the session, you probably have a sense of why this is important. But hopefully this will at least crystallize in your mind, like, what specifically we're dealing with in here. Because as you guys have seen from the session list, we're covering a lot of different stuff. Things like best pedagogical practices online, which is something Jamie Soltis has gone over, and using tools like Kami, which is something Meredith, who's here with us, has gone over. Other tools like Pear Deck, and I think we're going to get something about Edpuzzle and Screencastify. So we have a lot of different things we're looking at and talking about. But the focus of this session is really on thinking about how to take your Canvas course, and when your kids log into Canvas for the first time, and this is the first time they've seen this setup, how to help them get a sense of who you are as a teacher, what your class is about, and what to do next. So when you think about what we're doing, we're really taking the things that we have been doing for years and years and years as teachers, taking the lessons we learned from the Wong book, The First Days of School, right? Every teacher's favorite book here. But taking these lessons that are really good lessons. They are very strong practices for how to establish the start of the school year with your kids. And we're trying to transfer some of these ideas to an online setting. So just so students understand what your expectations for them are as a student, what procedures they need to follow to do certain things. They're going to have questions. How do they go get help? They need to figure out what they're supposed to be doing every day, every week. What's the process that they follow to do that? How are they supposed to turn things in? They do the assignment and it needs to get turned in. How is that supposed to happen? So these are all questions that we want to think about before the school year starts. Because while we're going to build most of our courses while the airplane is in the air, we don't want to build this piece of it while the airplane is in the air. As much as possible, thinking about how to kind of set everything up and get started is really going to make a big difference for how easily kids can navigate everything. And on top of that, Salem City Schools has come out and said, hey, there are some norms that we want every teacher to follow in their class. And the reason they want to do that is because, if you have kids at 3 different schools, right, like Ms. Meyer was telling us she does, if you have kids at 3 different schools and, every teacher at each of those different schools is doing something completely different in their Canvas course, that's going to be maddening. I have 2 kids. I couldn't imagine having to figure out, somewhere in the neighborhood of 14 different teachers with 2 kids. If you have 5 kids, that's, 35 different practices. So we're trying to really at least make some of the basic things as standardized as possible, just to help our kids, to help our parents be able to navigate what they're supposed to be doing. So that doesn't mean everybody has to use the same tools and the same types of activities. It just means how kids get to what they're supposed to be doing should be somewhat standardized for that piece to be simple. So some of the reasons why this is super important. First of all, we're going to have 10% of our kids, and that's what the latest number I've heard from Curtis is, about 10% of our kids will take all of their classes online, and that number might potentially go up as we get closer to start school here. Even our kids that come in 2 days a week, that still translates to 60% of their time that is going to be online. And so we got to think about the online piece first. If we have an issue in any of our schools where there's an outbreak of some kind, that's going to translate to 100% online for a chunk of time. And since I created this for last Monday at the high school faculty meeting, and this is why I was asking folks where they taught, because I don't know that every school is going to be the same on this, but I can say for the high school folks, when Mr. Habib was asked this question, what should we really focus on? What things can we quote unquote give up? He said, look, like, if I were in your shoes, and what I'm recommending to you is to focus on the online piece and then use your in-class sessions as kind of the supplements and the reinforcements. but the bulk of your work should be in the online setting. So again, setting this up in a way that students can navigate it easily is going to be super, super important. So we're using this thing called Canvas, which is a learning management system. And it's been used by Virtual Virginia and our state university system for a number of years. So if you guys know anybody that's at a state school, they probably know how to navigate Canvas pretty well. If you know anybody that's done anything with Virtual Virginia, they've been using Canvas for a while now. So this is a good tool as long as you know how to use everything. And I'm not going to go into detail of how to use all the tools. I know how to use some of the tools, but I certainly don't know how to do everything in Canvas, but I know how to do enough to get it set up so that my workflow for my kids is spot on. So that's what we're going to focus on today. We're going to focus on learning how to get around Canvas a little bit, focus on the 5 pages that are required, the 5 links that are required in our courses. I'm going to show you guys how to create those things. And the purpose of the modules and the grades links. So there's 5 links that we have to have: home, syllabus, announcements, modules, and grades. So those are required. That's something that Salem City Schools has said every teacher should have these 5 links and nothing else. And then again, I'll show you how to set up 3 of those pages: the home, the syllabus, and the announcements. And then we'll look into modules. Modules tends to be the one that's going to have the most questions. It's one that's not going to be used a ton by students, I don't think. I think some students might, but their main workflow is going to be home to announcements, quite honestly. But modules is going to be a place where we as teachers are using that a whole lot. So I will spend some time doing that. And certainly if you guys have questions as we're going through any of this, stop and ask. And then the last page is the links page, or the grades link, or the grades page. And really, if we could change that name from grades to feedback, I think we would, but I don't know there's a way to do that in Canvas. Certainly not within your courses. It would have to be a Canvas-wide thing if it is possible. But that's going to be the focus of that. So let me go ahead and go to Canvas. If you need the link to get to this, I'm going to take a second here and put that in the chat window so you guys can see that. So if you want, let me try that one more time. Can you guys see the link that I just put in there? My thing is saying meet everyone in waiting room. I don't have one that's everyone that's not in the waiting room, so I don't know what to do about that. Participant, no, that's not it. Okay, sorry. I don't know why that's not letting me put it in everyone that's in the session. It's just forcing me just to worry about the waiting room.
Can you send it to one of us and then we post it?
Yeah, let me try that. That's a good idea, Miss Coffee. All right. Maggie, can you see it?
Yep, I've got it.
Okay, so Maggie's going to post the link to the Canvas course, and you guys are certainly welcome, and I would encourage you, in fact, to kind of look in your Canvas course as we're going over this. And there will be some differences between what you see on my screen and what you'll see on your screen, but we'll try to address those as we go to help you out. Thank you, Maggie, for doing that.
No problem.
All right, so as you guys are getting there, and I know it's going to take you a second because you're going to have to click on the link and you're going to have to log in. Your login is your Salem City Schools email address and default password. So that same password that you use to check your email and to log into your computer and all of those things. It's the same email address and password that's used for everything else. But as you guys are getting there, this far left navigation is what I call the Canvas site level navigation. So the things that you see in here are, again, kind of whole site for Canvas. And so we can change some things on our settings for our account. They haven't made it so we can change our picture yet, which I think is strange, but you can't. So this is the dashboard. This is the place where you're going to see your different courses. A quick word about this. Right now, everybody will have a Sandbox, and yours might just say Sandbox. I changed the name on mine. But yours might just say Sandbox. So the Sandbox is, when you hear the word Sandbox, think what little kids go play in when they go to the park, right? The Sandbox is the place where you can play and try things out and mess around with Canvas to see if you can do certain things. So that's a good place for today if you haven't jumped into Canvas yet to start looking at this. If you want, and this is what I've been doing, you can come over here to the right-hand side and click on this button that says Start a New Course and just name your course. It will show up as an unpublished course in your site. I have been starting to build my courses. I'm limiting myself to only doing one a week so that I can make sure and do some other things that I have going on as well, like finishing teaching summer school. But I have some unpublished ones down here too. So you can do that. The thing that's the hang up for teachers on this, so I'll go ahead and go right to the point with it. If you start a new course and you start building the course, this is not actually the course that students are going to end up using. Salem City Schools is going to push a brand new course for every course that you teach into your dashboard here. But, and this is a big important but, you can take everything you create in your course shell, and that's what they'll be called as course shells. You can take everything you create in the course shell and just import it right into the new course that Salem creates for you. So when they create a new course, it'll automatically have kids in it. And then what you would do is you would just go into the new course that they've created and import the complete course. So when I go into one of the courses, we'll look at how to do that. So just so you know, like I'm not doing all this work for nothing right now. Like I'm doing all this work so that when they push out my new courses to me, I can just copy the courses right over into the new shells from these existing shells that I have. Okay, so let's go into one of your courses, either start a new course or go into your Sandbox. I'm going to use one of these courses that I haven't done anything in yet so you can see what it looks like. So I'm going to go into my Foundations of Cybersecurity for right now. And your course will look very similar to this one. You'll have this completely blank main page that wants you to create a new module. And then you'll have this huge list of links over here on the left-hand side, which is the course level navigation. So on the far left, we still have our Canvas site level navigation. And then on the inner left, we have our Canvas course level navigation. So this will take us to different places just within the course that we're in. I'm in the cybersecurity course. So this is all just for cybersecurity. So the very first thing you want to do once you get in here is we need to set up those 5 links that I mentioned before. So to do that, you're going to scroll down to the settings button. And there's all kinds of fun things you can do in here. But for the moment, I'm going to ignore all of these fun things that everybody will want to do, like putting an image for your page, which will show up on the dashboard. And there's some things down here and more options that we'll look at in a minute. But I'm just going to go to navigation. And your navigation is going to be different than mine right now. But we want to set it up so that these are the 5 links that are in here. And the way you do that, if you have a link that's up here at the top, you're going to click on this button and tell it to disable. And that will move the link from the top section to the bottom section. So you can see I have all of these links already disabled. So I'm going to re-enable that and bring it back up. But again, you want to disable everything except for these 5. So just use the little vertical ellipse to disable all of the different links that are not the right ones. And then you'll move your last 5 around. So I'll just show you that quickly. Let's say I had assignments in here and I wanted to move my assignments up. Let's say I want to put the assignments right after my announcements link. That's the way you have to move it. So it's not super user friendly, because user friendly would be a drag and drop here, but you can use the move feature to move that around. But we don't need assignments, so I'm going to disable that. And I can for discussions. That's fine. Okay. So again, this is really the first place you want to go. So after you do that, you hit save. It'll refresh the screen, and then we can hit home again. And again, we should see our navigation over here. The first 5 should be the 5 that we have enabled. And then everything after that is going to be still visible to us, but it's going to have this little eyeball with a slash through it, which means that it's disabled. So when a kid looks at it, they don't see it. And if you want to see what that looks like, over here on the right-hand home menu, this menu is only available to you on the home screen. You can click on Student View. And if a student were enrolled in your course right now, this is what they would see. Notice that the announcements and the modules aren't showing up yet, and that's because we haven't put anything in those 2 links yet, so they don't show up when there's nothing in there. So for right now, this is everything that we see. So I'm going to go back home, and I'm going to open up one of my courses that I've built, because we don't have time in this session for me to actually build everything in here, but I will show you how to create the things, right? So I'll do a super short demo in the cybersecurity course, which is basically blank, and then I'll show you what a finished version would look like in my computer science foundations course, so you have an idea for that. So the first page we want to work on is the home page, and to do this, we're going to click on the pages link. So to create the home page, we need to add a brand new page. So we don't have any pages yet, so we add one. And we're going to make this, and I'm just going to call it home page. I could call it cybersecurity home, main page, whatever you want. It doesn't really matter a whole lot what name you give it, but I'm making this my home page. So in here, what we want to do is give a little welcome to cybersecurity. And I'm going to leave a space right here to insert the video welcome to my course. And I do strongly encourage folks to do this. So this is absolutely a best practice, is on your home page, have a little video of you welcoming students to your course, talking about your course. Every time I do a YouTube video where I record myself and I post it to YouTube, they put the worst possible scene from the video on the main part of that. So I'm sitting here with my eyes closed in this one. In my video game programming course, I'm like winking or something, like one eye is like way bigger than the other. I look like a cartoon character. So just know that happens. But you do still want to have a video, because again, like, think about your kids that you're not going to have physically come to school. Like, you still need to build those relationships. You still need to have them think of you as a human being and not just messages on a computer screen. So anything that we can do to do that relational piece, to show kids that we're real live human beings that care about them, those are all really good things to do. Yes, Ms. Sellinger, you can post a video, you can make a video without putting it on YouTube. If you use something like Screencastify, and I don't know what school you're at, but at the high school, we have a site license to Screencastify, so it's unlimited. But even if you don't have the unlimited version, you can get the free version and post a 5-minute video. It will save it to your Google Drive, and you can actually embed a video from your Google Drive in here. So upload media recording. You'd have to upload it from Canvas to your Google Drive, but you can totally just save it to your Google Drive, upload it into Canvas, and put it in here. So yes, good question. I like YouTube because of the streaming aspect of it. I don't want to get too technical right now, but the streaming tends to work better for kids to watch the whole video without it getting laggy. Do we need to do this under the Pages tab instead of under the Home tab? Yes, that is right, Allison. So the Home tab just shows you the home page. We have to create a page to go on the home page right now. you can change your photo on YouTube. Like I can change that first page, Beth, like the first screen that shows what my video is.
Yes, in YouTube, you can go like into the video manager and you can kind of pick a what do they call it? A little,
A
like you can
thumbnail
pick,
or something.
thank you, a thumbnail. You can pick your thumbnail for what you want the start of your video to look like.
Oh, that's great. I'm totally going to go figure out how to do that today.
Yeah, that's how you can even make it like almost like a title page, sort of, you know, like you had a more professional photo or something that you wanted to start with. A lot of Mac people start with like the problem, and it's not really part of the video. They've made like a slide as the problem that they're doing, and then it's them doing the work.
Okay, maybe then I'll look at how to put a picture in there or something to make that more interesting. Good to know. Good to know. Okay, so we're gonna, again, I strongly encourage that video, and then the next piece you really want to have in here is how to get started. So I'm gonna actually copy my text here and call it getting started. And I could put in cybersecurity, or I could just leave that not like that. My message here is this: what is the course about? So literally one sentence on what students will learn in this course, and I'm going to just leave that blank right now instead of getting into all that detail. Again, for the sake of time, to make sure that we're not here more than an hour plus whatever time you guys want to chat. And to get started with the course, this is more the key here. Click on the announcements link on the left side of the navigation menu and follow the getting started with cybersecurity announcement to learn about how to use this content in Canvas. So again, this is kind of the basic setup of the page. Again, you'll put the video in here using the tools that are available. These tools will feel a lot like what you have available to you in like a Google Docs. So like if I want to make my titles bigger, I'm just going to change them to a heading style. So these are some default styles that exist in HTML. So make those nice and big. You can certainly change colors and highlights and bold and all those kinds of things. Add hyperlinks, add pictures, add multimedia videos, even connect it to different documents that you have in Canvas. So all of these tools are available for you to make these pages look wonderful. When you're done kind of setting up the basics of your page, you hit save and publish. And publishing is an important part of Canvas. If something is published, that means it's available for students to see. If it's unpublished, that means it's not available for students to see. So you can create a lot of things in Canvas that initially start out unpublished so students don't see them. And we'll look at some examples of that here in a minute. But for our homepage, we want to go ahead and publish that. And again, you can see that right here. The green check on the right-hand side means it's published. If I were to click on that, it now has the like do not enter sign, so unpublished. And the last thing I'm going to do right here is I'm going to mark this as use as front page. So that little vertical ellipse on the right-hand side of the information about your homepage will let you use this as a front page. So once you've done that, you can click home. And from here, it still doesn't have our home page because it still thinks it's a module.
Hey, Gary, 1 second. Do you have to publish the home page in order for you to, this might not make sense, to make it your home page? Because I just saved it while I'm working on mine, and it won't let me put it as a home page. Do you have to publish it first?
Yeah.
Okay.
It has to be published because kids have to be able to see it. You can't put a home page. You can't put a page on your home link that isn't published for students.
Right. And they can't see this anyway because they're going to upload like a different.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're the only person that's looking at these pages. And really, again, you're setting them up just so that you have something created. So at whatever point in the future Salem gives us our actual courses, you can just pull all of this right over to the new shell.
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. All right. So again, go home. It still thinking that you're creating a module, but there's, again, in your little home options over here on the right-hand side, click the button to choose home page, and you want to choose your page's front page. So now this is looking in your pages section for the page that we just marked as our home page, or excuse me, we marked it as our front page. We called it home page, and we hit save. And when you do that, now all of a sudden the page shows up. So that's the nuts and bolts of creating the home page.
Hey Gary, I think I missed a step. When I go to choose a home page, that is, it's grayed out that I can't do that.
Yeah, Beth, that means on your pages link, that you don't have a page in here that's published. So you might have saved it without publishing it, or maybe you didn't mark it as the front page, possibly.
Oh, that's what I didn't do. Use as front page. Okay.
Yep, that's it.
That's what I missed.
Yeah, okay. So when you go back now, you should be able to choose that home page.
Perfect. Thank you. That's right.
Yep. Okay. So from here, again, we're thinking about workflow of kids. We want to go right from what we're telling them to do on the home page, which is going to their announcements link, to actually setting up an announcement. So when we click on the announcements link, right now it says that we have no announcements. So we're just going to create an announcement. And in our homepage, we said, find the announcement called Getting Started with, and this class is Cybersecurity. So I give it that information, and you know, I'm going to put some kind of message in here. Welcome to the Cybersecurity class. And this would be a good place too. You can totally embed a video in here as well. Hey guys, welcome to the first week of class. Really what we're trying to do the first week of class is, I'm going to put a little bulleted list on here. Help students learn about the course and expectations. Help students learn how to navigate Canvas. Sign up for any communication tools, and I use Remind, and I highly recommend folks use Remind to communicate with their students. And I don't know, Meredith might know. Meredith, do you know if we have a school-wide Remind account with Salem, or do we just use the free one?
I don't know, but I can send an email while you guys continue working.
Yeah, I'm curious because I know with the free one, I think you can have up to 5 classes that you create.
Yeah, we'll need more than that.
Well, yeah, I say for most people that's probably not an issue because you can have all of your like kids in the same course get the same reminder.
Oh, yeah.
All of my algebra 1s could be the same, and then if I have algebra 1 and geometry, I only need 2. But if you have more classes, that could be an issue. Like I have 5 classes. So
some people have them for clubs. Some people use Remind for their clubs, or
yeah, that's true.
I'll go ahead and email Dana now while you guys.
Yeah. I think that's a good question to ask. Thank you for doing that. But sign up for any communication tools. Let them know where to look for help, and this kind of goes along with how to navigate everything in Canvas. But this is think about what you would do the first week of school to help kids start getting familiar with your course and starting to feel comfortable in your class. Some kind of getting to know you activity would probably go in here as well, right? So we're just setting up how we're establishing the routine of what kids are going to do. So I want to slip over to my completed course here, or my closer to completed course, I should really say. And I'm going to click on announcements, and my getting started with CFS link. So this is where kids are going to go first and foremost. So what I've set up here for them is really 4 little things to do. One is go to my syllabus page, which we're going to learn about next, to learn about the course and about me. The next one is a frequently asked questions and help desk links that we have for this course. So I'll show you guys what those look like when we get to the syllabus. This is a syllabus with my Google Doc on it, so I still create a course syllabus in a Google Doc for students, and then I give them a little quiz at the end of the week. Remind account, we use a site called CodeHS for all the computer science courses. So kids will start out the week by go ahead and signing up for that. And then there's a pre-test for the whole course in CodeHS that I have them do, because it's about 15 questions, takes about 10 minutes for kids. So it's fairly quick. Quick, and gives them, again, a little bit of experience using a tool that we're going to use throughout the course. So if there's a tool that you're going to use a lot in the course, if you're going to use Kami or Edulastic or Edpuzzle or whatever it might be, this is a good time to go ahead and introduce kids to that tool, just so they can see it once. And do something super simple, right? Like, don't do anything that's going to be like overly complex that you really need to be in front of them for. Do something that they can really do on their own, just walking through it. Yes, Wendy, good question. Can you edit after you publish the homepage? Of course. All of these pages are always editable. There is nothing that becomes set in stone and static in here. Your announcements, you can always edit after the fact. Anything in the course can be edited after the fact. Yeah, and the other question, would the announcement be a good place to link to the online textbook? Absolutely. If that's something that you want the kids to be able to get to, and you need to make sure they can get to it early on, like, yes. Again, set up all of those procedures the first week of school. You really don't want to worry about too much content the first week. You really want to worry about procedures and practices and the things that kids need to get comfortable with to be able to do everything in the course. So yes, absolutely. Set them up with an online textbook, have them maybe do like a little scavenger hunt with the textbook. That would be a good little activity to help them make sure they've done that and feel familiar with it. Okay, let me go back to the course that we're building as we go here. Getting to know you. I don't know why it doesn't like that. Anyway, yeah. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to go ahead and save this announcement. So this announcement will now show up for students. So when I hit home, let's see, why didn't that show up? Welcome. It looks like it's there.
Hey, Gary, did you see the button where teachers can click? Like if you write an announcement at 11:30 at night because it's on your mind, you can delay it so it won't post until 9 o'clock, so kids don't constantly text you.
Yes. So
that's really helpful.
Yeah, I actually have that set up over in my other course, and I was going to go over that briefly, but since you noted it, we can look at it. So I've set up my week 1 activities for students, and what Meredith is saying here is that at the bottom of this, there is a button that says delay post, and it will let you pick when that gets posted. So if you're doing this on like a Sunday afternoon, but you don't want students to see it until Monday morning, delay that post. The other thing this lets you do is it allows students, it allows you as the teacher to work like a week or 2 ahead of the students. So the reality of this is nobody's going to have their whole course ready to go before the school year starts. So we're all going to kind of be, again, using the analogy, building the plane as it's flying. So using that to delay posting means that you don't have to be like a day ahead and wait for the day before to post things. You can work a week or 2 ahead. And my experience, and people might have different opinions on this, but my experience is 1 or 2 weeks ahead is about right. Anytime you teach a new course, if you get too far ahead, you're going to not build in time to remediate and go back over things that kids need help with when they don't learn it the first time, because that's the nature of teaching. They don't always learn everything the first time. So if you're working like a month ahead or 2 months ahead, it gets harder to adjust if you do that. So I think a week or 2 Again, my experience in all the new courses I've ever taught, that's always been about right for me, is not to have too much planned more than a week or two ahead.
Gary,
Yeah.
so I have like a weird situation, but I'm going to be on maternity leave starting the week of the pre-service week.
Yes.
So
congratulations.
Thank you. So my question is, I guess, would you recommend me just do this on a weekly basis? Like I kind of have to plan it through.
Yeah, Alex, you're gonna have to, like, 'cause you don't want to have to be worrying about this every week with maternity leave. That's not the point of maternity leave. The point of maternity leave is to be able to walk away from this for a while.
Right.
So yeah, plan ahead. And
yeah, I've been trying as much as I don't like having to plan that much ahead, like you said, but I kind of don't see it.
I would encourage you, Alex, to plan ahead and to just keep it simple, right? Because somebody else is going to have to be facilitating this.
Right.
So it's simple enough for somebody else that maybe doesn't know about drama to facilitate this. And for your kids who, you know the range of students that you get in your classes, like for them to be able to do this without somebody really being able to sit there and help them.
Right.
So
okay. Thank you.
That takes a little more planning, but
any advice.
Yeah, Alex, your situation is different, right? Like if you're going on maternity leave, make simple plans, simple stuff that students can do, and be on maternity leave. Don't be doing half maternity leave, half lesson planning and answering emails and everything else. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So again, we're going back to the cybersecurity course. So this should be disappearing. I'm not sure why it's not disappearing, but we'll play around with it for a minute to hopefully fix that. All right, so now that we have an announcement, we're going to make one more edit to the homepage. We're going to go to settings, and in settings, we're going to go to course details. And in course details, we're going to go all the way to the bottom. So one more time, go to settings on the course navigation, go to the course details tab within settings, and click on more options. These more options are things that you're really going to want to think about and change. Now, one of them that you should 100% change is the first one. We want to show recent announcements on the course homepage. And so what that will do is on your course homepage, you'll get the most recent announcements. I would suggest either 2 or 3. I typically set mine to 2 because I think 3 is just a bit much, but I think 2 is about right. Show the 2 most recent announcements, and it's going to show up at the top of the homepage. So that just kind of reduces the number of clicks that students have to do. It reduces it by 1 click, so it's not a big difference, but it does reduce it. And then these other things, again, you can kind of pick what you want. I'm going to let students attach files to discussions. I'm going to let students create their own discussion topics, let them edit their post. I'm not going to let them organize their own groups. If we do group work, I want to control that. Absolutely 100% hide totals and student grades. We don't want students using Canvas to find their grades. I'll talk about that in a minute. Absolutely hide graph distributions from students. We don't want them comparing each other's non-official grades in Canvas to each other. And I also disable comments on announcements. So I don't need students commenting on the announcements. I want them to go to some other places to do that. So I click the update the details here. Okay, now it looks like it's working. Great. And so now from my home page, my announcements link is now showing up because I have an announcement, and they can click right on that first announcement to know what they're supposed to be doing the first week. Okay. So I have 15 minutes, so I don't want to rush, but I also don't want to keep you guys long. The next page that I will just look at really briefly is the syllabus page. And again, I'm going to go ahead and look at that mostly on my completed page. So the course syllabus defaults to what you see right here and what you see in your course. So you can look at, you can really make the course syllabus page whatever you want. By default, the course syllabus page kind of more resembles a syllabus like you'd find in a college course. You know, you get the first day of class in college and the professor hands out the syllabus and it tells you the 4 assignments that you have over the course of the semester that are going to count for anything. You know, obviously, we don't do that in K-12. So what I do with my syllabus is I just edit this page and I put in the syllabus the information that I want kids to have. So my syllabus includes 4 sections. I make a little banner because I like making graphics. I include a section about this course that tells students the basic information about the course. And then I give them a Google Doc that is my full syllabus that I typically go over with students the first week of school so that we can, again, have some common expectations, some common understandings about how I do makeup work, about how students should act when they're in class, about how the dress code is enforced, about how cell phone policy is enforced. You know, all of this super boring stuff that still becomes really important if you don't set it in place for students. And then my ILO information, and students usually do pay attention to that because they typically care about how their grade's going to be calculated. But this is what I'm doing in this syllabus page, is I'm making it the information that I think students need to be aware of and know. So I have a section that's just about what they're going to learn in the course and what my expectations are. I have a section about how to navigate Canvas. And these links go to videos that I've created for students on how to navigate Canvas. So I'll pop them open real quick just so you can see what I've done. And you don't have to do this. Like, this is not something that is required. The syllabus is really like totally up to you what you want to put in here. And this is where I would say, as a teacher, like, really think about how you want to personalize this to help students. Again, the big picture here is students need to know about you. Students need to know what this course is all about, and students need to know what to do when they don't know what to do. So if they're stuck on something, how do they figure out what the next thing to do is? So that's part of what my navigating the course is all about. Again, I have a page that I created that has a bunch of super short videos on how to find different things in Canvas. That's one of the approaches I'm taking to solving this. You don't have to do that, but again, I'm just showing you what I've done and helping you think through what this might look like. I have a page all about, or not a page, a section about me as their teacher. And then a course communication section where I'm saying, hey, look, if you're stuck and you don't know what to do, here are 2 places you should look. The first is an FAQ page. So this is just I made a brand new page. Notice the pages link over here. I made a brand new page in Canvas and answered some what are going to be commonly asked questions, because I know students are going to ask these questions no matter how much I go over it with them. They're going to ask these questions. So you guys know that a little bit about your courses. And again, as the course goes on, you can update this page. You can make this page have whatever information is important. So if students are having a hard time accessing the online textbook, FAQ section, hey, here's how you access the online textbook. And then also, whoops, navigate it away. And then I also have a help desk, which is a discussion board. So in this help desk, I've given students this prompt to say, hey, if you're having trouble with anything, respond here. So they just click in the reply box and they can ask whatever question they want. And I can respond to it. Their fellow students can respond to it. This is a more interactive section where they're getting help from each other as opposed to just getting help from me. And I tend to encourage this and push this. You know, if students ask me a question, I might say, hey, have you tried the help desk yet? To try to get them doing this way. Because if they were sitting in class with me, they might ask me, but they also just might as well ask the person next to them. And that's a process that I use a lot in my classes. I want students to ask each other for help and work collaboratively before they necessarily come to me right away for help. I'm always going to help a student, but that collaborative nature of learning is, I think, really important for our kids. So that's why I push that. So that's the syllabus page. Again, mine is what it is. You don't have to have one that matches mine, but again, try to meet those needs of who are you as a teacher? What is this course all about? And what does a student do when they get stuck and they don't know what to do anymore? So they have an issue. How do they resolve that problem? All right, so that's the syllabus page. I'm going to go ahead. The only other thing you want to do on the syllabus page, I should show you this on this one. So when I edit it, you'll have the whole section here. No, thank you. There's this button at the bottom that says Show Course Summary. Do you have that unchecked? When you have that unchecked, it means that the section at the bottom where it says what assignments are due when won't show up. So right now, if I look at this in my blank course, this course summary piece is showing up. But if I uncheck that box and update the syllabus, that section goes away. And we want that section to go away. This is not a college course where you only have 5 assignments. Kids are going to have lots of assignments that they do over the course of the year. We don't want that page getting filled up with the 100 of assignments that we give students over the course of the school year. All right, so we have less than 10 minutes left, and now we are to the section that teachers are going to have most questions about. So this is wonderful. Sorry, I haven't timed this very well today. So the modules section. The module section is where you want to put your kind of sequential learning activities. So when you think about, your lesson plan for day 1, and you start listing in order, I'm going to do this first, this second, this third, this fourth. When you build that lesson plan, and when you build that lesson plan and you're thinking about the things that you're doing, you want to ask yourself, what do kids need access to do this? So I'm going to go ahead and create a new module, and I'm going to call it Week 1 Resources. And you can see I've done this before. And I might lock this until the start of the school year. So maybe I'll lock this until the 31st because that's the first day of school. So I create a new module and it shows up here. Within this module, I want to put everything that students need access to. So let's say, for example, the first thing I want them to do is take a quiz that I've made on the syllabus. I would go to quiz and I would pick a brand new quiz to put in here. Now you have to make all of these things first, which is important, right? So if you know the first thing you need to do is have a quiz, you need to go to the quizzes link. You need to build a new quiz. And I don't even know if this is going to let me do it because I won't have any questions in it. But we'll try it. Lots of options to deal with there. So make sure you take some time to look at those options. Oh, good, it'll let me do it. So in this module I have now, I'm going to go to my quizzes and I'm going to choose that quiz. And so this is where teachers always have some questions about things like, can I add something in Kia? And my answer is yes. You can either you can use the external URL and put in the link. And I'm not going to pull up my Kia to put in a link here. And you can create a brand new quiz in Kia that links to it in here. So we have our Intro to Kia quiz now created in this first week announcement. If you have an ed puzzle with external tool, we have some different things that teachers can use to create content. So there's an ed puzzle here. If you really like Google assignments, like if you really liked Google Classroom and you want to create an assignment where it gives students a copy of a Google Doc, use the second Google Drive link, which is basically creating a Google Classroom assignment through this tool. There's a Cami tool in here, which Meredith gave a presentation on last week. I think he's giving it again this week, if I remember correctly. But you can build all of these things in here. So it takes and this is where I don't have all the expertise, right? Like I don't know everything about setting up the Cami link to work in here, but I do know it can work. I've been told very specifically that it does actually work. So again, you can create, oops, let me not do that. You can create all of these different options. You can use these built-in external tools. You can link to a URL to anywhere. You can use any of your pages. So like if you create a page that covers some content and then has a link at the bottom of that page on where to go take their quiz or whatever, or where to do the assignment, you can do that. We can create assignments in Canvas. All of these things are absolutely options you can do. And again, I'll swing over here really quickly to show you this module that I've created for this class. So I put an external link to my syllabus followed by the syllabus quiz, have them join Remind, have them create a CodeHS account. These are all assignments. And so when you click on these things, this is what it's going to look like. It's going to tell you what to do, and then it's going to have next buttons. So in theory, a kid could come right into this module, and if you have it set up in like weekly increments, they could just do each of these activities and hit next to go to the next one, and do this activity and hit next to go to the next one, and do this activity and hit next to go to the next one. And this is one way they could navigate how to do the different things they're supposed to be doing in the course for that week. So this is certainly a way to set that up. However, what I would argue is actually a little bit better practice than having everything set up in weekly modules. And I'm not saying don't set it up in weekly modules. Like certainly you can set it up in weekly modules or unit modules. That's all fine and good. But what I would actually argue is a little bit better is in your announcements to create links directly to the activities, the learning activities and assignments you want students to do each day. So I had to create for this class all the assignments. So let me go to that link so you can see it. All the assignments for what I wanted them to do the first week. So I set up these assignments so that they are available for students. And then when I did my announcements, I just linked to them. So when you do this, I'm going to edit this page so you can see it. Setting up links to things that you create in Canvas is super easy. So like if I just wanted this to go to my home page, for example, I would highlight the text, click on the drop down for the for the course links, not external link, a course link. And then I can pick from anything that I've created. So if I wanted it to go to my home page, I just click on the home page. If I want it to go to a specific assignment, I just find that assignment and click on it. If I want it to go to a quiz, same thing. Announcement, same thing. So you can link to basically anywhere in your Canvas site pretty easily by using this feature. So even if you want to go to your syllabus, you can do that. So
Gary, sorry for the millions of questions.
No.
So would you recommend kind of doing both things, doing modules, or are you just showing us two different methods you can kind of go by?
I think both methods can work. Like I can see a place where you say in your announcement, hey, click on this link to go to the week 1 module and then complete all of the activities in the module. That could absolutely work. I prefer this method because I think it's easier for students and to just be in announcements and go to the individual things.
Okay.
I would encourage both though. I would encourage both.
And also, if it's okay, I don't know if you're able to post this recording of this Zoom chat afterwards.
Yeah.
Just so I can kind of look back at your course. I just like the way that you organize certain things, just so I can kind of steal certain things, if that's cool.
Who's talking, by the way?
Oh, it's Alex. I'm sorry.
Alex. Yeah, so I have posted the first session I did on this, and I can have Scott post this one too.
Cool.
Alex, what I'll do, and anybody else that wants to do this as well, I will just add you as a person into my course, and you can see Miss Odell has already asked the same thing. Are you A. Easterling?
Yeah, you got it. Mm-hmm.
Okay. At salem.k12.va.us.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
I'll throw you in here as a teacher, and what that will do is when you go to your dashboard in Canvas, you'll see this site.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yep, no problem. And I have 5 messages now, so let me look at let's see here. So I have Maggie and Wendy and Denton and Price and Selinger. Great. I will add you guys all, and as soon as we finish this, let me talk about grades real quick, and then take any questions you have. I know I'm over time.
Can I ask a quick one about those 2 methods of
Yeah.
posting assignments? Do either one of them, is there any place where it like checks off once a student does an assignment?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. You would be able to see that. So the easiest way to see that actually is in the assignments link. And this is what I've been doing with my summer school kids. So like, I would go to the assignment that they did and use the speed grader. And this isn't going to be a great example because I only have 1 student in here, but this will have the list of all of your students, and everybody that's done it will be a darker text. So like test student is grayed out because they haven't done the work. But if the kid has done it, it'll show up in here with darker text to show you that the kid has done the work.
But you still have to go into each assignment and look at them each individually, or is there a place?
No, you can also, so this is the last place to look, Beth, I would say, is go into grades, and it'll have all of your assignments and the status of everybody's assignment. So if they've turned something in, it'll show up as like a little document icon to show you that they've turned it in. And then after you grade it or you give them feedback, the icon will change, if that makes sense. Here, let me go. I have to go to Virtual Virginia's site for a second to do the summer course, but I can show you what that looks like with my summer school kids. Hopefully. There we go. The site's a little slow. Okay. So one of the things, as I'm going into this, you'll see that kids will get this too, but there is always going to be these little announcements of upcoming things over here on the right-hand side. So kids will see that. It shows up in their calendar as well. But to go specifically to your question, Beth, when you have kids in the course and you go to grades, and I don't have any ungraded work right now, which is a slight miracle that I don't have any ungraded work, but if it'll show up here. Yep, Alicia, I'll get you in there, and Kathy, I'll get you in there too. Wendy, yes, the answer to that is yes. Like kids can submit whatever they want and it won't, like there's no way for Canvas to know that's happening. So yeah, that is possible. But Beth, so you'll have the ability with all of your assignments to kind of pick how you want to note what kids have done. So you can see most of mine have check and X's. So like if they did it and they did it correctly, it's a check. If they didn't do it correctly, it's an X. But again, if a student has completed something and you haven't done anything with it yet, it'll show up as a piece of paper icon. And again, I don't think I have any of those in here right now because I think I've graded everything. But yeah, it'll show up as a like a little document icon to let you know that they haven't done it yet, or that they have done it. If they haven't done it, it just shows up as a dash. So I might not be visualizing what you're asking very well. But that's kind of the best answer I have at the moment, to be honest with you.
So one of the biggest challenges of asynchronous learning is just like constantly having to go to all of these external sites. You know, we assign something on Academy, assign something in IXL, assign something on Desmos, and then having to find all of that information.
Yes. So here's what I would suggest for that. And again, I don't have any examples right now because my kids haven't turned anything in since I graded last. But if you make them in the assignment in Canvas, hit a button to turn something in. So like, don't just make it so that they go to an external tool. make an assignment where they have to put a little note in there that says, I completed this, and submit it. On your homepage in your course, you will get notifications that say 12 students have submitted this assignment and 2 students have submitted this assignment. So it'll come up right here on the bottom right-hand side of your homepage and tell you who has submitted what. So instead of having to go to each assignment to figure out what kids have done, all of those assignments show up right here on the bottom right blank space of this page. And then you can just click on that link to go right to the grading of those assignments. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that works. And then, so you would click on that to kind of verify that they're telling the truth, because you could do the same thing in Google Classroom where you turn in that you've done your IXL, but then if you actually go look at the recording in IXL, it would be a big fat 0.
Correct.
So you still kind of have to go behind them
So
and
you still have, yes.
verify.
So if you're doing something in IXL, if you're doing something in IXL, Canvas does not have a way to check that the IXL is actually done. You're just trusting that the kid actually did the IXL because they said they did. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. There are a few things that collaborated with Google Classroom well, so I'll check and see if they do the same with Canvas.
Yeah, that's just going to be specific to the individual tools, and I don't know all that, to be honest.
Got it.
Yeah, and Kristen, that's another piece that you could do there as well. It's a good observation. Instead of just having them turn it in IXL, have them take a screenshot, submit the screenshot in Canvas, and then that way that prevents Beth from going to IXL. That's a good observation too.
We used to do that, Kristen, and then they were able to like go in and change what the screen said. This was a trick they learned long ago where they could like in class you're doing an IXL and they could make the little badge say, oh, I got a 95 on this, but on the back end of it they had done nothing. So they spent all their time figuring out how to like hack the page instead of just do the assignment.
Yeah, you can do that in Paint really easily, unfortunately. So yeah, Microsoft Paint gives you that power. So like Canvas is not smart enough to outsmart kids on cheating. Like that we've never come up with the technology that will outsmart them on how to cheat. Turnitin.com is maybe the best thing I've ever seen for that, but other than that, not much. All right, so last piece, and then I'll have questions. With the assignments, when you have kids that turn these in, again, you can put numeric scores in here. And there is a way, and somebody asked this question, there is a way to connect these assignments in Canvas to PowerSchool. So it'll go right from your Canvas gradebook to your PowerSchool gradebook. But what Salem has said, and this is what Jamie Soltis said very specifically to me, is Canvas is not the place that kids need to go for their grades. We need to keep pushing them to go to PowerSchool to see their grades. And Scott echoed this when I talked to him about it. But we need to keep pushing them to go to PowerSchool to see their grades. We need to think of Canvas as the place they go to look for feedback. So if we're looking at one of these assignments, like what is cybersecurity, and again, I go to the speed grader, I'm going to be much more concerned about putting in feedback in the comments than I am about giving them a numeric grade. And like you saw in my summer course, most of my grades aren't actually numbers. Most of my grades are this: complete, incomplete, or excused, just to give them kind of, again, a way to look and say, oh, well, I haven't finished everything that I was supposed to finish. And what kids will be able to see, this is what you see, what kids will be able to see is all of their assignments in more of a vertical list. I don't know why this isn't working. Let's try it this way, see if that does it. Yeah, there we go. We'll see it in this vertical list. So they can click on these things and get their feedback from here. And on the student homepage, their feedback will show up on the student homepage, just like what students have turned in will show up on your homepage. So again, if you just think about this grades link as it should really say feedback, that would be the better name for that. That hopefully helps it make sense. But again, there is a way, and I've been told this is what we should expect to see, is that our gradebook in Canvas will communicate with our gradebook in PowerSchool, so we don't have to enter grades twice. You enter grades just in Canvas, enter feedback just in Canvas, and then we're using PowerSchool to show them their ILOs and to show them their overall grade. So it's two different uses. Yeah, Wendy, so assignments can be for individual or small groups. And again, I'm just going to open it up to questions right now. I don't have anything else that I need to go over. So Wendy, to show you how to do that, if you go into an assignment, so we can either create a new assignment. I'll just go into an existing one to show you what that looks like. And I hit edit. Here at the bottom, I can assign to whoever I want. So I can set up sections. So I can set it up so like my first period is a section, my second period is a section, or I can set up individual student groups, or I can just pick which students that I want really and put it in here like that as well. So I'm hoping your next question is, how do I set up sections? Which I would go to settings and click on the sections button. And because we're doing A, B, C, D student groups, we could do it that way. And again, also you could do like period 1 if you wanted to do it that way. I wouldn't do A, B, C, D and periods. I would choose one way or the other. Again, my teaching schedule is so unique. Like I have 5 different courses that I'm teaching this year. And only one of those courses do I have more than one section of. So it's really, I'm funky in this. Like most people are going to have 3 or 4 sections of one course and then 1 or 2 sections of another course. I'm strange. But yeah, I think the sections are helpful. I'm glad we have those. I think that will be useful to folks. All right. So I've talked a whole lot this morning, but I'm happy to walk through anything else you guys want to see. So speak now, or email me later, message me later. And everybody that put in the announcements, or not announcements, everybody that put in the chat to add you to this course, I will. So look for that later today. But before I say thank you and you're welcome to leave, although you're always welcome to leave, you're adults, you can do what you want. Yeah, Alex, I'll go do that. Yeah, ask questions. This is a great time for us to sort this out. Okay, so Alex, to add sections, go to settings. And there's a tab here called sections. And you can just tell it to be, again, like this is my, if you have 2 drama 1s, period 3 drama 1 and period 5 drama 1, for example, like that. Gail, no problem. I'll get you in there.
So is there a point in creating sections if the school is going to import sections anyways? How does that
I wouldn't bother with it in the shell that you're working on right now. Like I would focus on setting up the course workflow and setting up your assignments, setting up some announcements, all those kinds of things. But if you want to do it once you get the final shell, absolutely, that's when you would do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I've just done it in these shell courses because I've been teaching people how to use Canvas, so showing them how to do it. And I've been playing around with, if I have a group A, can I assign them something, or what can I do with group A that would make it different from all my other groups? So I've just been doing it to play with.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Gary, have you written a quiz through Canvas yet?
I have, yes.
Can you show us what that looks like? Because
sure.
Some of these interfaces are difficult with math. So
yeah. Yeah, and I know math. Oh my gosh, writing quizzes for math courses is in every LMS I've ever used not great.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a quiz that I've set up, and I'll click on edit, because when you create a new quiz, this is what you'll see: the title, the description of the quiz, so a lot like what you would get in Kia, and then some settings. Is it graded? Which assignment group is it a part of? If you have assignment groups set up, you don't even need to have assignment groups set up, so that could be blank. This sync to SIS, this is what connects it to PowerSchool, FYI. So if you want to connect to PowerSchool, sync to SIS is going to have to be checked. Multiple attempts can come in here, but really you're focused on the questions. So the tab up here is going to do different questions. So this is, I mean, your editor for the quizzes is basically the same thing as the editor for every other text area in Canvas. So with math, you know, your best bet might be pictures, honestly. I don't like, with all the special symbols that you guys have to have, you know, there is the insert math equation button right here. But again, I don't know how great that is.
Okay. Yeah, that's kind of what we're used to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean,
but the benefit, of course, is
sorry,
there
what?
are a lot of options. I guess the benefit there is that they are. Oh wait, what's Elisa say? There are math features.
You can insert images.
Okay. The benefit of writing a quiz through Canvas is that you can then grade it and it's synced over to PowerSchool, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
and if it's a quiz where you know you don't have to go back in and physically look at the answers, like if you do create a multiple choice quiz, like it'll for you, like you don't have to, you know, you don't even have to look at it. So like my course introduction quiz, which is what this one is, the syllabus quiz, you know, I don't have any free response in here. It's all multiple choice. So Canvas is going to grade it for me. Now, you can't necessarily do that always with math quizzes. It's a little trickier with that, but.
All right. So Elisa and Maggie, and I'm sorry, I don't know who else is in here. I just saw you guys. I guess we need to have like a kind of a math department best practices discussion too about quizzing through electronic devices. That's just on my mind. Anyways, keep going.
Yeah, and this is totally aside from this session, but I think that collaboration within departments and with amongst people that teach the same subjects as you, that is going to be such a huge part of this. You know, if I were still teaching econ and PF this year, I would be getting together with Susan and Laura and Kevin and saying, hey, let's collaboratively amongst the four of us build one course shell, and you know, we'll all kind of use that shell instead of four of us like recreating the wheel on this thing. I would absolutely be doing that to try to make it as simple on all of us as possible. And I know that's not typically the kind of the Salem way of doing things, but I would still be pushing for it given the uniqueness of the situation that we're in. Yeah, and Alicia, you can you know, you can totally like have Canvas give you a number score on the quizzes, and then in PowerSchool have those grades be exempt. So like, yes, it's giving them a number, but it's not actually calculating anything. So it's not calculating a score. Yes, Wendy, absolutely. You can share course shells between teachers of the same course. So let me be careful with that for a second. You can share content amongst multiple course shells. So like if your department is working on in a common shell, then you can all import that same information into your individual shells. Because again, Salem is going to create individual teacher course shells. So what you would have to do with that, yeah, and that's true, Alicia. That's what I'm doing in this course, is adding you guys as co-teachers, editors. But what you would do with that, Wendy, is import existing content. So I'm on the home page of my course. So I'm going to say import existing content. And I want to copy a Canvas course. I'm going to go ahead and pick this course that I've been working on, and I can just pull everything that I did right into there. Now, right now it's giving me a warning message because this is the same course. So let me just pick a different course. So warning message, but I can copy all of the content into there. If you do this, my one big warning on this would be, when you copy from one course to another and you take all of the content, it's going to overwrite stuff. So it's going to get rid of stuff. So when you do this course copy, the first time, make sure that you copy the entire course into a blank course. And then every time after that, because again, we're building as we go, you have to select specific content. So when you select specific content, it will tell you, hey, pick what you want. So, the second time you might say, oh, well, there's only one assignment that I need and one quiz that I need, or, there's one module that I'm going to pull over to do this. So if you do a full course copy into a blank course only, and then after that, do specific content or select content only, so that it doesn't overwrite anything. So again, just to see here, copy a full course. The first time, all content. Every time after that, specific content. So hopefully that helps with that. What if I can get rid of this? Cancel. Oh well, it doesn't really matter that much. Leave it alone. All right. Good questions. Okay. Anybody else? Questions that I can answer? Any help that I can give? I don't know if anybody's even, there's still people here. Yeah. Guys, feel free to reach out and ask for help. I'm here to help. That's, I don't get anything for doing this other than the satisfaction of, maybe I'm going to save some mental anguish of some of my coworkers. And that's totally worth it to me. So I care about you guys, and I want teachers to not be as stressed out as I think many of us will be this year. So if I can save you guys a little anxiety, let's save everybody a little anxiety. I'm all for that 100%. Cool. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to hang out for a minute and add some folks into my Computer Science Foundations course. Yeah, you're welcome to leave. You're welcome to hang out and ask questions, whatever you feel like you need to do there. And I'll be doing this. So good to have you guys. Thank you guys for coming. Always good to hear from some folks. Looking forward to seeing my Spartan family here in the next few weeks. I'm gonna pause the share here.